Alrighty guys, welcome to week 3. This week we're going to look at Vinyasa flow, and this is going to be probably one of the more challenging weeks. I want you to remember that these are all options and you don't need to do a vinyasa at all. So the first style of vinyasa that I will show you will be something that you can do instead of a vinyasa. I also want you to know that, you can watch a lot of this stuff, you can kind of understand it, and you can move through the poses that feel good to you. So we're going to start nice and easy, do some really good stretching, and then we'll get into what a vinyasa flow is. And if you're wondering what a vinyasa translates to, well, it translates to special way of movement. And the vinyasa is a series of poses linked together to kind of flow the postures together. Now, hatha yoga, that's more of a still style of yoga. So you come into a pose, you hold. I am a huge fan of vinyasa flow. Not everybody gets on with it, but remember, I'm giving you a little taster of everything. So in vinyasa flow, we're kind of constantly moving and flowing through the poses. It is a more cardio style of yoga. Don't be put off by that. Remember, you're going to take it at your own pace, and I'm going to give you lots of different options. You're going to need your blocks for today's class. So when you're ready, just grabbing your block or two, depending on how much height you need, and then just coming to sit down. So again, if the knees kind of plop off of the mat, you can always take blocks underneath the knees as well, or you can come to any other seated pose that works for you. If you just are like, I cannot sit down, make sure you try to prop your butt up high enough first, or you can do the seated stuff in a stool, in a chair, sitting on the side of the bed. Don't worry if that's you. And then just letting the hands rest onto the knees, palms facing up or down, and just allowing the eyes to close here. Take an inhale, grow the crown of the head up, and as you exhale, just let the shoulders become heavy, let the hips become heavy, the belly release. And just take a moment here before we start moving, before we start doing anything at all, just to check in. How are you feeling? Does the stuff that I was just talking about at the beginning fill you with fear? Or are you quite excited? Neither's right, neither's wrong. Notice what the breath is doing. And just noticing any sensations, physical, mental, emotional. Let the shoulders drop away from those ears. Good. We're going to move into Viloma breathing. And if you can't remember what Viloma is, we're going to take 3 stepped inhales. So inhaling into the belly, the abdominals, then into the mid chamber of the torso. This is the diaphragmatic area. And then into thoracic, which is the chest, the shoulders, the collarbones. And we pause between the belly and the diaphragm, between the diaphragm and the thoracic. And at the end of the inhale on the thoracic, we just take one big exhale out. And this is an upregulating breath. And this is what we're going to need to get into our practice. So take an exhale to let the breath go. Then inhale into the belly, pause. Inhale into the diaphragm area, mid, pause. Inhale all the way into the top of the chest. And then slowly exhale the breath out. Inhale into the belly, pause, diaphragm, pause, fill all the body with breath, and then slowly exhale out. Good, you're going to do 5 more like that. Just take 1 more. Good, and just return to natural breathing. And just noticing how you're feeling. And then just gently flutter the eyes open. And just allow one of your ears to drop to one of your shoulders, left or right, doesn't matter. And just feel that stretch in the side of the neck. If you want to, you can bring your hand onto the side of the head, just opening up a little bit more here, just simply letting the weight of the hand and the arm do the work. And then releasing the hand off the head, bring the head back to center and just slowly drop to the other side. Opposite hand, if you want, the extra stretch can come onto the head, but if it's enough without it, then just leave the hand where it is. Good, back to center, and then slowly drop the chin to the chest, and I want you to lengthen the back neck, so really stretching out the back of your neck here. And then lifting the head back up, and then you're going to send your chin up to the sky, stretching the front line of the throat. So lift, 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 lift. So rather than chucking the head back, we're just thinking about lifting the chin up. Nice, and then back to center. Okay, so now take one hand down to the floor, and if your hand doesn't reach the floor, you can always use your other block underneath your hand. And then bringing that left hand up to the sky. Turn the palm to face up, reaching that hand high, 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 and just reach as far over as feels good to you. Inhale, push into the floor of the block, find length on the right side of the body, and then start to reach over a little bit more. Keep that left bum cheek down. Good, and then just switch to the other side. Hand on the floor of the block, right hand comes up to the sky. First 45, turn the palm to face up. Inhale, find length, and exhale, start to come over. So you're just gently starting to feel into that side body. Lengthen through the left side, then come over. Good, so we're gonna use the breath now. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bring the hand down. Inhale, lift high, and exhale, reach over. Good, inhale, lift up. Exhale, hand comes down. Inhale, reach that hand high. Exhale, take it over. Good. Start to move with your own breath. Don't worry if it's not the exact same as what I'm doing, but just feel the arms moving with the breath. And you might even take it over side to side using one breath rather than kind of piecing it together. Just go with whatever feels good to you, finding that movement, finding that space. Good, and the next time that you bring the right hand up, you're gonna bring the right hand down onto your left knee. Inhale to find length, and then exhale, just start to gently twist. If it feels good, look over the left shoulder. Inhale, find length. Exhale, twist, just taking one more here. Inhale, nice and long, and exhale, twist. Good, come all the way back up, taking that left hand high, reaching it over. And then bringing left hand down onto that right knee, right hand behind you. Inhale first to find length, and then exhale, start to twist. Looking over that right shoulder if that feels good. Stay with the breath here. Good, all the way back up to the top. Interlace the fingers if that feels good. Press them up high. Nice, we're gonna move into tabletop and do some cat-cows. So if you were sitting on a block, just moving the blocks out of the way and finding that tabletop position. So hands onto the mat, fingers spread wide, knees hip distance apart. Inhaling, letting the belly drop, sit bones or eyes gaze up, pulling the chest through the arms. And then as you exhale, start to push the floor away, rounding that back. Inhaling, coming through, lengthening, reaching. Exhaling, pushing away. Nice. Taking a few more like this. Close your eyes and just feel into the movement. Cat-cow is a really great place to start to feel that connection, that transition of breath and movement working together. And then eventually come back to tabletop. We're going to keep right hand on the mat, and you're going to take your left hand up to the sky. Look as high as you can, reach the hand as high as you can. And as you exhale, we're going to come into thread the needle. So you're going to bring your left arm and left ear down. Good, and you might stop here. This might be enough for you. If you want to, you can walk your right hand forwards. If you want to, you can take a right hand up to the sky. And if you want to, you can wrap that arm around the waist. Wherever you are, just focus on trying to open up through the chest, through the shoulders, and just allowing your weight to be heavy here. If that doesn't work, if this just doesn't feel good to you, you can just work on lifting the arm up and bringing the arm back down. Lifting the arm up and bringing the arm back down. Those who are in that full twist, if the arm is around the waist, start to unravel, plant the hands onto the floor, push into that hand, and send your left hand up to the sky. Good, so we're going to take it on the other side. I'm just going to spin around. So now left hand is going to stay put, right hand reaches high to the sky, and then thread that arm underneath, taking the ear and the shoulder down. Maybe walking that hand forwards, maybe taking that hand up to the sky, maybe wrapping that arm around the waist. Opening up the shoulders, opening up the chest. And remember, if that doesn't feel good, then you can just work on sort of slingshotting the arm up and down. Good, stay there for another breath. Nice. If you're in that position, start to unravel the left hand, push into the floor, peeling that right hand back up to the sky, and then bringing your hand back down. Good. Coming into child's pose. Big toes come to touch. Sink the bum down and let the arms come out in front of you. Don't worry if the head doesn't touch the floor here. We're not going to stay for ages. So we're going to start to move in the way that we move with vinyasa with our breath. So from here, pull yourself up into tabletop and then just start to exhale, and you're just going to droop the hips towards the floor. Then pull the heart forwards like there's a magnet, and then push the floor weight, suck the belly in first to push you back into child's pose. Good, we're going to do the exact same movement. We're going to start to use the breath. Inhale, bring yourself up. Exhale, let the hips drop. Inhale, pull the heart forwards, and exhale, push the hips back. Good, keep moving like this. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, let the hips drop. Inhale, pull the heart forwards. Exhale, push the hips back. Nice, I just want you to take 3 more like this. Doesn't matter how low those hips are dropping. If this is uncomfortable on the knees, pad them up, grab a blanket, grab something to put under the knees. Yoga is not about being uncomfortable in pain. Okay, there's going to be a bit of discomfort when we're using muscles that we've not used in a really long time. There's no right or wrong to this movement. You're just starting to feel into the basics of a vinyasa. And you could essentially use this as a vinyasa if you wanted to. I have absolutely no problems with that. Good. The next time that you come into child's pose, just hang out here for a moment. Finding that normal breath, that inhale, that exhale. Good, and then from your child's pose, you're going to pull yourself up without thinking about it too much. Tuck the toes and find your first downward dog. So first thing we want to do, spread those fingers wide. Plug the underneath of those fingers into the mat. Externally rotate those biceps, so biceps going out to the sides. Let the head be heavy. Look up to the belly button or between the legs. And just start to pedal through those feet. Remember, we do not have to have straight legs. You want to be pushing into those arms, pushing into those hands so that you're sending the butt up to the sky and the thighs and the belly towards each other. Nice. From here, either walking the feet towards the hands. If that's too difficult, you can walk your hands towards your feet. Some of us, that's going to be a little bit easier. And then either roll up vertebrae by vertebrae or walk your hands up your body, keeping a soft bend in those knees. Good. Coming all the way up to stand, finding Tadasana. Palms facing forwards, rolling those shoulders down, lengthening through the crown of the head. Nice. From here, hands come together behind the back, either holding a strap or if you feel comfortable interlacing the fingers, go for that. Press the knuckles down, squeezing the front of the chest, the backs of the shoulders towards each other. Front of the chest opens. You can keep the chin tucked, or you can lift the chin high. Just breathing into this stretch. Nice. And then release. Shake out the shoulders. Give them a little wiggle. Come to stand to the top of your mat. Okay, so we're going to start to move through some of the key poses and the actual vinyasa. So if you want, you can watch and then, do the video again and practice along. You can always pause these videos as you go. So maybe watch a little section, then do it along with me, rewind it back, whatever works for you. We're going to find Tadasana, doing that classic breath movement that we've done before. So inhale, hands come high. Exhale, navel in towards the belly, folding forwards. Inhale, hands on blocks or the floor or those shins, lengthen high. And then you're going to take your hands onto the mat. We're just going to step back with one foot in the other, and we're going to find plank. Okay, so remember, we don't want the booty up to the sky. Shoulders over the wrists, kick into the heels, push into those hands. Looking just beyond those fingers, finding that length, draw the belly button in. Okay, from here, drop the knees. Untuck the toes, sink the bum back. Good, option 1, this is vinyasa. Pull yourself back into tabletop, tuck the toes, downward dog. Okay, so we'll just do that again so it makes a bit of sense. Forwards into plank, inhale. Exhale, knees drop, toes untuck, and we sit back. Don't worry too much about the breath. I'm just going to mention them. Inhale, back up into tabletop. And then exhale, bum comes high. Okay, so that is option 1 for your vinyasa. Option 2, forwards into plank. Drop the knees, untuck the toes. Turn the bony bit of the elbow to face backwards. Look forwards, travel the shoulders forwards. From here, belly button stays in, and you're just going to do a little baby press. Okay, little baby bend with the elbow, push back into the hands. You can send yourself into child's pose, or you can go straight back up into downward dog. So we'll try that one again. Inhaling forwards into plank. Exhale, the knees drop, toes untuck. Inhale, travel the weight forwards. You're going to exhale, baby press. Push back either through child's pose or straight into downward dog. So that's option 2, okay? Option 3, forwards into plank. Drop the knees, untuck the toes. From here, travel the weight forwards, draw the navel in, and you're going to lower all the way onto the belly. Now, once you're on your belly, you're going to hug the elbows in, draw the shoulders away from the ears, press the tops of the feet down. Pubic bone is going to drive into the floor, and then you're going to inhale into baby cobra. From here, exhale, lower, tuck the toes, either pushing into child's pose or straight back into downward dog. So we'll do option 3 again, forwards into plank, drop the knees, untuck the toes, turn those elbows, take the weight forwards, lower down. Inhaling, shoulders away from the ears, lifting into baby cobra. Exhale, tucking those toes, pushing back into child's pose, or you can go straight into plank. So what I want you to do now is come through 3 more of these vinyasas. I'm going to do option 1, option 2, option 3. If you want to copy me, you can, or just stay with what works for you. So when you're ready, just taking 3 more of these vinyasas, your choice. Making sure you're breathing. Don't worry too much about where the breath is yet. We all get there eventually. I wouldn't worry too much about it being perfect. Vinyasas are an amazing way to build strength, to build stamina, but also to build flexibility. Eventually, we start to come into those deeper back bends, which we'll look at in week 8. Nice. And then once you've done those 3, come onto the knees, take a little break. So you might come into child's pose, you might just sit on the bum, you might splat on the belly, whatever works for you. But just tune into the heartbeat here. Good. Find that normal rhythm of breath again. Good. Okay, from wherever you are, flutter the eyes open. We're going to bring ourselves into Tadasana. You can just bring yourself up. If you want to come into a bit of a transition from your child's pose, pull yourself into tabletop, tuck the toes, downward dog, and then walk those feet towards the hands and roll yourself up to stand. Good. Okay. So we're going to take it slow. Vinyasa, what we do in the Vinyasa flow is each time we add a pose. Okay, so the first round is with one posture. The second round might be 2. The second round might be 3. And it's like this chain that slowly builds. And one of the really nice things about Vinyasa flow when you're a beginner is that because of that repetition, it becomes easier to remember what you're doing, to remember the pose names, and to work on the alignment of the pose as we go. So we're going to do a vinyasa rather than in between each of those poses. We're going to do them after we've done 2. That'll make sense as we go. So find your Tadasana, nice and tall. Inhale, hands come up to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, draw the navel in. Good. Inhale, find length. As you exhale, right foot is going to stay put. You can use your blocks if you need them. Step back with the left, maybe stepping back more. Drop back knee, untuck toe. Now from here, hands can stay on the blocks if you want, or lift the heart. Maybe lift those hands with them. So finding that low lunge. Now, sink forwards. If that knee is overshooting the ankle, walk that foot forwards. Now, what I want you to really start to work on here is squeezing the thighs inwards. So you're pulling both those thighs in towards center. You're gonna need this in a moment when we go to lift that back knee. Good. Feeling into that pose, look at one thing. Once you find the poses, really avoid looking at me, okay? I'm often not even really doing the poses, I'm just chatting. Good. Then from here, take the hands either onto the floor or those blocks. Tuck back toe, raise back knee. Step left foot forwards. Fold over those legs. Inhale, find length. Exhale, we're going to step back with right foot this time. Drop back knee, untuck toe, look forwards. Hands can stay on the floor of the blocks, or those hands come up to the sky. Now again, try not to let your right hip sneak away. You want to squeeze the right thigh in, left thigh in, holding your balance, stabilizing that pelvis. You're going to need that in a moment. Try to draw the navel in towards the spine. Turn the thumbs out so you get that external rotation of the shoulders. Big inhale here. As you exhale, hands are going to come down. Now we're going to do a vinyasa. So tuck back toe, raise back knee. If you can, you're going to step left foot back, finding plank. Then those options are there for you guys. Drop the knees. Option 1 is to just sit back into child's pose. Pull yourself back up. Tuck the toes. Downward dog. Taking any other variation, guys. And then from here, whatever works for you, either walking the hands towards the feet or the feet towards the hands. We're aiming to walk the feet towards the hands because that brings us to the top, but just do what works for you. Inhale, find length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way back up. Hands come up to the sky and then bring the hands back down. Okay, first round done. So we're going to build on this now. We're going to go from that low lunge into a high lunge. If your balance is really off, have either a chair or a wall handy. So finding that Tadasana at the top of your mat. Inhale, those hands come high to the sky. Exhale, draw the navel in as you fold. Inhale, hands on the floor, the shins or the blocks, find length. Exhale, right foot's gonna stay put, step back with the left, drop the knee. This time, guys, keep that back toe tucked. Hands can stay on the floor or hands can come up. Nice. Find that focus, squeeze the thighs together. Good. Okay, from here, what I want you to do for this first one is I want you to grab your blocks. So back toe is tucked. You're going to bring your hands back onto your blocks and you're going to lift your back knee. Now, this is a high lunge versus a warrior one. So in warrior one, we drop that back foot, but here we're gonna stay high on the ball of the back foot. Now, this is gonna make balance a little bit trickier. So what I want us to do is start to come onto the fingertips. You're gonna really actively press into that back heel, and you're going to squeeze those thighs towards each other, really nice and strong. Then start to lift the chest. If you feel like balance just isn't gonna work, stay here. Otherwise, if you feel like you can, you're gonna take those hands up. Now, those thighs have to be squeezing in, okay? As if you're holding a block between your thighs. As soon as you let that go, your back heel is gonna be really wobbly. Hands don't have to come up either. They can go onto the hips. That's a really nice medium point. Taking the hands onto the hips, finding a bit of balance here. Good, and then we're gonna bring our hands back onto the blocks, weight into that front foot, step that left foot forwards. Take an inhale. And exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, find length. Exhale, left foot stays put, right foot steps back. Drop the knee, untuck. Oh no, don't tuck. Keep the toe tucked. Inhale, find length. Good. Now, from here, guys, take the weight into the hands and then start to lift your right knee. Now look to your back foot. Make sure that your back foot isn't directly behind the left foot. You want them to be hip distance apart. Start to actively press into that back foot. Squeeze the thighs towards each other. You're pulling right hip forward, left hip back. Onto those fingertips, maybe hands onto those hips. My back knee is slightly bent. This is gonna make it easier for me. Don't worry about straightening it right now. You're trying to keep your right hip forwards, left hip back. If you feel confident, hands can come up to the sky. Big inhale here. Exhale, bring those hands back onto the blocks. Bring the blocks forwards. Plant your hands onto the mat, step back into that plank. From here, drop the knees. You can sit back into child's pose, or you can take that little press. Push back into the hands. Option to take a child's pose, or to go all the way into downward dog. Once you find that downward dog, either walking the feet towards the hands or hands towards the feet, whatever works for you. Good. Let's keep using the blocks. Hands onto the blocks. Inhale, find length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into the floor. Lift all the way back up. Exhale, Tadasana. Good, okay. So now we're gonna build into our third pose, okay? So we have got low lunge, we have got high lunge, and we're now gonna add warrior two, okay? So just to remind you, this is what warrior two looks like, but I'll explain it as we go. So have those blocks ready. Hands come up to the sky, inhale. Exhale, bow. Inhale, nice and long. Right foot stays put, we step back with left. Drop that back knee. Good. Keep the toe tucked. When you're ready, start to lift that back knee. Make sure that those feet are hip distance apart. If you feel like your foot's too far back, bring it closer. Lift the chest. Bring the hands onto the knees. Nice and strong. You can have a bend in that left knee. Take a big inhale. Right knee isn't going to move. You're going to start to drop your left toes out to the side. Okay, I'll just show that again. So my heel's high. And then all I'm gonna do is drop my foot out to the side. I'm pressing into the outside edge of that foot, squeezing my butt, lifting. I'm pushing my right knee out to the right. Good, I'm stacking my torso through the center of my pelvis. And if you feel ready, hands release. Good, find some length here. Look down the middle finger of that front hand. Press into all four corners of both feet. Good. From here, you're going to cartwheel your right hand onto the block, your left hand onto the block. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Step that foot forwards. Inhale, find length. Just going to switch sides. And then exhale, fold. All right, let's give that a go on the other side. So weight in the left foot, step back with the right foot. Drop the knee. This is a chance for you to just get sorted. Lift the heart, back toe tucked. Lift that knee. Squeeze those thighs to center. Actively pressing into that back foot. Come onto the fingertips. Maybe hands come straight up to the sky, or maybe you feel more comfortable with them on the hips. Take an inhale here. Left knee isn't going to change. You're going to open up that right hip. Right toes out to the side. Actively press into that back foot. Engage the butt cheek. Keep the knee pushing out towards the left. If you feel ready, arms nice and long. Roll those shoulders down, opening them up. Look down that left hand. Big inhale here. Exhale, settling in. Good, okay, let's take our left hand down, right hand down. Move the block slightly forwards, take the hands onto the floor, step into that plank. From here, coming through that vinyasa, first option, just sit into child's pose. Second option is that little press up. Third option, we come all the way onto the belly. Lift the heart, finding that back bend. Push the floor away, finding that downward dog. From here, guys, walking forwards or stepping back, whatever works for you. Get those blocks nice and ready. Inhale, push into them. Exhale, fold. Press into the heels. Inhale, all the way back up. And exhale, bring those hands down. Now, know that you can skip any of these vinyasas out. You don't have to do them. We need to add, I think, 3 more poses. So the next pose that we're going to add on from our warrior 2 is called reverse warrior. Okay, it doesn't matter how far back you reach. So let's get ready into that Tadasana. Blocks ready. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, hinge at those hips. Hands on those blocks. Inhale, flat back. Now from here, I don't want you to drop your knees. So you're going to step back with the left foot. And we're going to go straight into high lunge. So come onto the fingertips, squeeze the thighs together. You can have a soft bend in the left knee. Hands either onto the hips as you lift up or straight up to the sky. Then as you exhale, drop that back heel, find warrior 2. Good. Now we're going to add that third pose on. In Vinyasa flow, we're kind of landing in a pose, and the last pose that we come into is the pose that we hold. So look down your right hand and then flip your palm to face up. Keep that right knee bent and just start to bring your right hand up towards the sky. Doesn't matter how high. Left hand just gently rests on that left leg. I like to come onto my fingertips. Inhale, find length. Exhale, see if you can reach a little bit further. Keep the bend in that front knee. Good. Come back up to standing. Hands are going to keep moving down onto those blocks. Take the weight in the right foot. Step the left foot forwards. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale. This time, left foot stays forward. Step back with the right. Good. Look forwards. Find that strength. Press into the ball of the back foot. Hands come onto the hips. Maybe they come up to the sky. So you're in that nice high lunge position. And then keeping that left knee exactly where it is, open up the right foot. Arms nice and long. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Now look at the left hand. You're going to flip that palm. From here, right hand is just going to rest onto that right leg. Left hand reaches nice and high. Now the left hand might be slightly forwards. If you're tight in the shoulders, don't worry. This is totally fine. Keep the bend in the left knee. Breathe nice and deep. Good. As we exhale, our hands are going to come all the way back down onto our blocks. And then from here, take the blocks forwards, hands onto the floor. If you want that vinyasa, start to come through it. Otherwise, you can just go straight to downward dog. If you're doing that vinyasa, you have the knees down, option of your choice. And once you've found that downward dog, hands to the feet or feet to the hands. Maybe they meet each other in the middle. Hands on those blocks. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising all the way back up. Whew. Finding Tadasana. Stand there for a moment. Find your breath. So I told you that it was going to be quite cardio because we're moving a lot. Also, don't worry if you're not getting this full transition. This is one that I teach you now because we use a lot of these poses throughout the rest of the 8 weeks, but it's one that you'll want to come back to at the end and you'll feel a lot stronger in it. Okay, so we've got 2 more poses to add on. So from our reverse warrior, we come into something called extended side angle. So the arm is going to drop down onto the thigh and the other arm is going to come over the head. Remember, you've got those pose tutorials that really break these down as well. So coming to stand into that Tadasana. Inhaling, hands come high. Exhaling, hinging at the hips, hands onto those blocks. Inhale, find length. Exhale, right foot stays forwards, left foot steps back. Getting ready for that high lunge. Look forwards, hands either onto the hips or straight up to the sky. Good. From here, we're going to open into warrior 2. So the left toes drop, right knee stays forwards. Arms open nice and long. Look at the right hand. You've done these poses before. Flip the right hand and then start to take left hand onto left leg. Reach nice and high, find that stretch. Good, come back forwards. Now from here, right forearm is gonna drop down onto right thigh. Left arm, just take it straight above you and then turn the palm to face the direction that the head's going. Then just start to bring the arm over until you feel a stretch, okay? Some people might be able to come really far over. Some of you might be straight up to the sky. Press into the outside edge of that back foot. Good, rise back up. Same thing that we've been doing before. You're gonna cartwheel those hands down. So right hand down, left hand down, step forwards. Hopefully you don't have a plant like I do. Inhale, find length. Exhale, fold. Getting ready to take it on the other side. So left foot's gonna stay. Step back with the right foot. Press into that right heel, pull the thighs towards each other. Look forwards, not down, rise up. Hands might come up, they might go onto the hips. Exhaling, opening into that warrior two. Try to keep the bend of that knee and don't let the knee collapse in. Look down the left hand, flip the palm and start to reverse the warrior. Remember, it doesn't matter how far back that left arm reaches. Okay, extended side angles. Coming back forwards, left arm down onto left thigh. Palm faces up like you're holding a treat. Bringing your right hand high. Turn the palm to face the same direction that the head's going. Press into the outside edge of the back foot and reach that arm over. From here, if it feels okay, you can look up. Trying to open up the shoulder. If balance is really wonky, keep the gaze down. Look down, rise back up, nice and strong. Good. From here, take the hands down. We're gonna skip the vinyasa on this one. So stepping, right foot forwards. Woo, bow over those feet. Soft bend in the knees, and we're gonna rise all the way back up and find Tadasana. Good, find your breath. Breathing here. Good, okay, so the last pose that we're gonna add into this vinyasa flow is triangle, Utthita Trikonasana. So in triangle, you've done that extended side angle. You're gonna rise back up. You straighten out your front leg. Palms face forwards, reach forwards, and you just tip down. Doesn't matter how low you go. Some people, you'll see them in triangle doing this. But for us, because we're beginners, we're probably gonna go as low as the knee. Okay? So let's see if we can do it. Finding Tadasana. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, belly into the spine, bow forwards. Inhale, find length. Right foot's gonna stay forwards, stepping back with that left. Squeeze those thighs to center, look forwards, hands onto the hips or the thighs, find that length. As you exhale, opening into warrior two. Back foot's pressing into the floor, right knee's pushing out to the side. Flip that front hand, reverse the warrior. Keep the bend in the knee, really light on those left fingers. Coming straight back into extended side angle. So right forearm comes down onto right thigh, left arm maybe straight up to the sky, maybe reaching it over. If you can, take the gaze up. If that's too much, keep the gaze down. Look down. You're gonna rise up, okay? Now from here, you're probably gonna love this bit, straighten the front leg, okay? Now, if you have what's called sway back, which is where you hyperextend, okay, where you lock out the knee, keep a baby bend. Arms nice and long, palms face forwards, reach hinging in that front hip, and then just tip down, take the hand to the inside of the knee. Maybe your top arm only goes this high. Maybe you can get it stacking. Equal weight through both feet. Don't go any further than feels comfortable. So this might be your triangle. Good. From here, bend into that front knee. You're gonna cartwheel those hands, connecting them to the block. So right hand comes down, left hand comes down. Weight into the right foot, step forwards with the left. Inhale, find length. Whoo. Exhale, fold. Inhale, find length. Left foot's gonna stay put, and we're gonna step back with that right foot. Squeeze the thighs, look forwards, maybe finding that this is a little bit easier each time you do it. Hands either straight up to the sky or on those hips. Find that stability. And then as you exhale, you're gonna open up the right foot, push the left knee out to the side. Arms come nice and long, reaching here. Look down the left hand as you flip that palm, and then just start to reverse that warrior. Right fingers nice and soft on that back leg, reach nice and high as if you're trying to pull your left arm bone out of your shoulder. Good, back to warrior two. Left forearm drops, right arm comes over the head. Good. This is the last little push, guys. We're almost there. Rise back up into warrior two. You'll enjoy this bit. Straighten the leg. Remember, if you've got sway back, keep a baby bend. Palms are going to face forwards. Catch your breath. Good. Reach forwards, hinging in the left hip, then start to tip down. If you're really tired, you can always brace yourself on your shin bone. Don't brace yourself on your knee. Nobody wants to be doing that. But if you can, take the hand to the inside of the knee. Press through the feet. You're going to feel the thighs want to pull up to protect. Good. Nice. Look down. Bend in that front knee. Rise back up. Good. Cartwheel the hands down. Your choice, guys. You can go straight back into downward dog, or you can come to plank and move through one last vinyasa. Pulling back the shoulders, finding downward dog. And then from your downward dog, let's drop the knees, taking the chin towards the floor, head towards the mat. Use a block if you need it, finding child's pose. Slow the breath. I like to let my elbows drop, bending my elbows, stacking my hands on top of each other, and resting my head on my hands. This is just a really nice restorative release on the shoulders that have been working so hard. Just taking 5 more breaths here. From here, you're going to slowly start to lift yourself back up. And you're just going to tip onto one bum cheek or the other and sweep the legs forwards. We're going to let the legs come out in front of us and just release, okay? So if you're really tight in the hamstrings, really tight in the back, you might be sitting up this high. You might be able to fold a lot further forwards. You can always put a block under the bum. You're not engaging the legs here. You're just really lazily flopping. It doesn't matter what the arms are doing. And maybe taking a couple of deep breaths. Good. Slowly lift the head. Well done, guys. So we're going to scooch forwards, taking our feet onto the floor, bums about halfway up the mat. Reach forwards with the hands, round the back, and we're going to see if we can lower onto the floor using our core for 10, 9, 8. The lower back is the hardest bit. 6. Keep breathing. 5. Don't hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way down. Bring the arms over the head. Extend the legs. Good. Move the blocks out of the way if they're there. And we're going to take a banana stretch before we come into Shavasana. So walking your legs over to the right, and I want you to hook your right ankle on top of your left. Then from here, grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. The elbows can be bent. Take it inhale, try to straighten the arms as much as you can, and then pull your left arm over to the right. So you're creating this banana C curve in the body, almost pressing out through your left hip, inhaling to find length, exhaling, trying to pull that left arm over a little bit more. And then release that tension, unwrap the legs, walk them over to the left. This time you're going to hook a left ankle on top of the right and let go of the left wrist. You're going to grab the right wrist. Big inhale here. Exhale, start to take that banana C curve over to the other side, pulling this time your right arm over to the left. Really push the rib cage, the right hip out towards the right. Opening, 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 opening. And then release. Good. From here, you're going to start to find that Shavasana. Okay, that corpse pose. So arms down by your sides, either leg straight, or if you're feeling your back at all, you can take your feet onto the floor, feet wide, and knock the knees together. That's a really nice release in the lower back. Gently rock the head from side to side, and then just let the hands soften. Let the feet become heavy. Let the abdomen release. Left hip and right hip heavy. Feel the front of the chest soften as right shoulder and left shoulder release down. Let the jaw relax, teeth slightly part as the back of the head sinks down. And again, I'm just going to leave you in this Shavasana, and I would really encourage you to stay here as long as your body needs. And if you fall asleep, that's okay. It's probably what your body needs. Close the eyes, grab a blanket if you need it, and just start to slowly drift away into your corpse pose.